Hey guys, and welcome to a pre-fourth quarter match little chat about SSG basketball, which has been requested by Tabletop Delaware. He wanted me to play a game so he could see what it's like, and I've done the first three periods. This is the first game I've ever played. I'm not going to play the fourth period yet. I'm just going to explain to you how this thing works and the little tweaks that I've made to the game already to suit the way that I like to play. Now you can buy this as a PDF or you can buy the box set, and later on I'm going to talk about Replay Basketball as opposed to this. So without further ado, what you get, I get the PDF. Make no bones about it, it costs an absolute arm and a leg to get it sent over from the UK to the UK. When you add in customs, duties and everything else, so you're looking at 25 to 30 quid extra for a game. So when something costs you 50 quid, it costs me 80 quid if I want it sending over. So I buy the PDFs, and there is a downside to that. You have to print all these things off, and it's a labour of love. It took me 3 hours, but they're fine. And as you can see, I also like to round off the corners of all the cards because I just think they're nicer. So it's the way it is. This board that I'm playing on is the Replay Basketball board. So what comes with the set, whether you buy it or you buy the PDF, you get a shed load of charts. You can play this card and dice, or you can play this with fast action cards, and you can see them at the top of the screen, but there's a lot of charts. Too many charts for me, so I'm using these, but I'm also using them in conjunction with 2D10s. I'll explain that to you later on. You get two game boards. You get this one, which is the positional game board, and you get this one, and I'll explain that one to you. What the game works on is it works on offense and defense values. So 14, 20, 15, 17, 37. So Allen Iverson is the number one offense. So if you use this board, you would put Allen Iverson here. The second one in this line is Tony Kukoc at 20. You put him in 2s and 3 and 4 and 5, and the same with this team. And what comes with the box set is 2d6s, 2d10s, and then there is another set of 10 d6s. There's 5 green and there are 5 blue, I think, coming. If you look at Steve Towers' video on SSG, you'll see the dice, and what they're used for is if you're using this, then you put the blue dice or the green dice, whichever one you want, along here with the number of the defense rating. So where Allen Iverson is number 1 on offense, and he would be in this position, he is number 4 on defense. So you'd have a green dice here or a blue dice, depending which one you wanted, with a 4 showing, so you could quickly see who is number 4, because that all comes down to these cards here, control cards. And so the positioning in respect to the game, this is probably the better board if you're just playing the game and you're not bothered about things. But the problem you've got, of course, is that if you've got 2 point guards on here, if you've got a point guard playing shooting guard and a point guard playing point guard, then on this board you don't know who the point guard is or the shooting guard. So that's why I'm using this sort of setup with the positions. And to make up for the fact that you don't get the dice in the PDF version, they give you a set of black numbers and a set of white numbers. And how I've got this set up is the black numbers are the offense position, so Iverson 1, Cool Coach 2, Maxwell 3, Ratcliffe 4, Tyrone Hill 5, and the white ones are the defense positions. Ratcliffe 1, Tyrone Hill 2, Maxwell 3, Iverson 4, Cool Coach 5. You also get inside the PDF sets of position. So if you're using the other board, you can use these and put them out so you know what position they're playing. So that gets over that. So obviously you don't get the dice with the PDF version. You then get 144 action cards and control cards. One side is an action. I'm not going to turn this over because this is all set for the game. Let me use one of these. You get one for the action, and there it tells you offense 5 against defense 5. So if it was that, you'd have Tyrone Hill against Ron Mercer, black 5, white 5. And here it says if number 1 is 27 plus, then it's him instead. So you look at number 1, which is actually Mercer anyway. And if he was 27 or over, then you'd use him. On the back side, if you want to play without dice, then what you see here is all you need, because it's got action rolls here. 67 would be the roll, and then I'll show you how it works, but you work out what happens with the 67. You keep turning these over, and again, if you watch Steve Towers' video, he runs out of these cards very quickly. There's only 144. Now, as it works on percentile roll of these player cards, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that 144 cards, the action roll is only going to turn up once, possibly twice. So I don't use these for the action of the cards. I use these for things like a pass or an assist or a rebound or a foul, etc., etc. And what I do when it's reading something off this card is I use 2 percentile dice, and the blue is the 10s. So let's say it was 5 and 5, and we're playing this game, it's 52. So what you do is you look at the defense control, which is this section here, and if that number 52 falls within that range, then it would be either a foul, steal, or a block, depending on what it was. And if it doesn't, you go to the offensive player and see if it falls in his control range, and it would either be a draw, turnover, pass, or a 3-point shot. Unfortunately, Tyrone Hill never takes a 3-point shot, so that never happens. And in this case, as you can see, if you can see, that's an 18. So 52 is in neither of the sections. So what you would then do is that would be a 2-point shot. So you roll it again and you get 0-6, and you would look at the shooter's 2-point range, which is the right side, and 0 to 43 is good. Anything other than that is a miss. So 43 would be 06 would be good. So he gets 2 shots, gets 2 points, and then you turn a card over, and here it says assist is the power forward. So you give an assist to the power forward, and I use this to know who it is in control, because you really could get lost doing that. And if he missed, you would then, instead of looking at that section, you look at the rebound section, which is the defensive power forward. Sometimes it is a matchup, and the rebounds are at the bottom of the card. Good offense and defensive rebounds here, and underneath that is the free throw rate 0 to 63 and the assist rate of 3. That is really only used if you're using dice. And then down at the bottom is a foul rating and some stats, and these are used because sometimes you get things like the assist is the third assist, so then you'd have to work out who is the third assist, but it's quite quick. Now, to start the game, let me just bring the 2 teams cards in, Philadelphia and Chicago. That's the game I'm playing. And for those interested, the current score from the 2001 season is Philadelphia 60, Chicago 64. So a bit of an upset at the moment. So what you would do is it works on possession cards. This action deck is 2 decks. It's an action deck and a control deck. And this deck controls the length of half of a 12-minute period. So it's a 6-minute deck. And the way it works is you look at the pace of the home team. In this case, 29 is Chicago's pace. And you then look at the visitors card and you take that off. So 29 minus 0 is still 29. If this game was at Philadelphia, it would be 29 minus 1. So there'll only be 28 cards per 6 minutes, which makes it a little bit difficult when you're trying to work out how many minutes a player has played. So what I've done here in this case is the first minute is only 4 cards and the rest are 5 cards. Now on this sheet, on this card also is the 2-point adjustment for 2 and 3 point shots. So in Philadelphia's case, when they're making a 3-point shot, a 2-point shot against Chicago, it's a +3. And when they're making a 3-point shot against Chicago, it's a +1. When Chicago are making a 2-point, it's a -1, and a 3-point is a -1. There is also home court advantage. And the way this works is if they're at home, Chicago are at home at 2 minus 1, which is 1. If it was at Philadelphia, it is 3 plus 3, so they have 6. And how that works is, in the first and the fourth quarter, you're allowed to change a turnover into a 2-point shot or a foul, I think, is into a 2-point shot as well. So it gives you a little bit of advantage being at home, but you can only do it in the first and third, and you can only use it up to the number of home court advantages that you gain. So obviously in this game, Chicago have got 1 to come in the next period, so they can change a turnover becomes a 2-point shot, and a foul becomes a missed 2-point shot. So effectively, that is what the game is, and every time you have to roll for a possession, you turn one over and you play it until it's finished, and these things just come in my case, for making a decision after the shot's been made. The other thing that they say in the game is to allow the home team to start every period, and I don't like that. That's not what the NBA does. So what I do is I roll a decided die at the start of the game. Green dot is the home team win the jump ball. No green dot is the visiting team win the jump ball, and it's the NBA rule. The losing team start the second and third period, and the winning team of the jump ball starts the fourth period. Other than that, the only thing I could say against this game is that they only give you 1 position for the players, and then you can, I've written this out, a centre can play power forward, a power forward can play centre, a small forward, yada yada yada. Foul trouble, these numbers, if you've got somebody in foul trouble, so if Allen Iverson was on, let's say, 4 fouls and you wanted to keep him in, you could move him to the 5th offensive man. And what that does for him is that in general, 5s would come up less than the other numbers. So you'd use it'd be the 5th most likely of the players to get the ball in a one-on-one situation, in a challenging situation. So you move him to 5, so he'll not get the ball as much, but also it means that his block rating here, which is 98 to 99, so it would move to 99 in this case. If it was Maxwell, he hasn't got one, so it won't make a difference. But if you look at Ratcliffe here, 81 to 99, he would move to 97 to 99, so his blocking would be affected. So you can actually override the positioning, but it also affects other things. You can also play a press defense on it, on the game, if you're within 10. I play it in the last 6 minutes. As I said, I've not got that far yet, but only in the last 6 minutes of the game if you're losing by 10. And what happens there is that when you roll these two dice, 0-8, if you're on a press defense, would become 80, which means that you get a bigger chance of getting the ball, but also you get a bigger chance of fouling. So you could end up fouling out. So that is what the game is all about. And I'm going to do a video of the 4th period of this game for Tabletop Delaware, and that'll be coming later. But I also have this game, which is Replay Basketball, and I've played one game of this as well, and I really like this game. If you've got Replay Baseball, you know what it's like. You get a load of possession cards, tell you what's going on, and these are not action cards. You can play this game. You have to have these, because these are what's happening with the possession, but you can have dice as well, and I play it with dice. Now, they do sell fast action cards as well, and what happens in that case is you'll get virtually the same set, but they'll have a red and a white box here, which is your red and white dice, and on the flip side there'll be a blue box, which is your blue dice. And as I said, I've played this game and I really enjoyed it. If I was purely on the games itself, I think that is a better game. But this is my gripe with Replay Basketball. If you want to buy Replay Basketball, for the cards and dice version, it is $50, $49.95. If you want to buy it without the dice, so the fast action card, so remember that virtually, from what I can see, is the same deck of cards as these, but with some blue, red and white numbers on, it's $52.95. Now you can just buy the game parts, which would, from what I could tell, would be the cards and dice and the game board and the action deck, for $29.95, or you can buy it with a season for $32.95. But if you want to buy a season, it is between $40.95 and $44.95, and there's some random seasons that range from $27.95 to $37.95. So it's an expensive game. And and inside that, I think you get 4 teams. So you're paying $50 for the bits and 4 teams. And if I were to buy it, then it'd probably be like $12-15 in shipping costs. I can't tell you that's the case because I've not looked, because I didn't buy the box set. But then I've got at least £20 on top of that for a customs fee. So if we knock off the cost of the shipping, you're looking at $49.95 plus $44.95 for the latest season. That's $94, and then another £20, which is what, say $25. That's $120 for a game. Not happening. So I went with the PDF, which is, I'm quite happy. PDF, I don't mind printing them out. I don't mind cutting them out. I've got a nice little guillotine and a little corner cutter. Makes the cards look nice. And I can get the base game for $16.95. And it's the same if I have the fast action or the cards and dice version. I got the cards and dice version because I prefer cards and dice. But a season set. Now, in the PDF, I only get 2 teams. I got the 17-18 NBA Finals, Cleveland and Golden State. And if I want to buy a season, it's $20, $19.95. And they only go back to 2009, 2010, which is fine if you want to play those seasons. But I come from the time when I spent in America in 98 for a couple of years, and I like the 2000s and the 1995s onwards. So I can't get them. So for me to do that season in Replay Baseball, I'd have to pay $40 odd and shipping and customs. Customs wouldn't be that bad because I assume they're just like the Stratomatic cards that come in sheets and you rip them apart. I don't know, having never seen them. On the other hand, SSG basketball. If you buy the box set, it is $24. If you want the fast action cards, because you can get these with the dice numbers on them, if you want that, they're $12. And if you want a season set, they're $29, and they go all the way back to 1975. There's a few missing of the later seasons, the older seasons, but $29. So to buy the season and the box set is $53. And if you add the fast action cards, which are just these with numbers on, is $65. A damn sight different to $95. Now with the PDF, the game parts are $9. And the season set, which is the season I wanted, 2000, 2001, that you see in front of you here, is $9. And they have all the season sets that they have on the box set available for $9. So $18 it cost me to get the game and the season set. And not only that, with the season set comes another set. I think it was the 2018-2019 season. It came with it. So effectively I got 2 season sets and the game parts for $18. Now, as I said before, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. If you want to play a game and it's a good game, I'm enjoying playing it. I think Replay Baseball is technically a better game and a more interesting game, shall we say. But it's not that much better than SSG, that I'd pay so much money for it over SSG. As I say, if you're in the States, it probably don't make a lot of difference because you can get the game boxed up, but $44 for a team as opposed to $30 printed and $20 as opposed to $10, let's say $9, $10 for a PDF. That's a big difference for what is a slight difference in a game. So if you wanted my recommendation, I'd go SSG, especially if you're abroad. But the game itself, Replay Basketball, is a good game. So you pay your money and you take your choice. But for me, I prefer to, maybe I'm just a bit of a miser in my old age, I prefer to not pay $100 for a game. I prefer to pay 18. It's a bit unfair comparison because I've taken the box game for a replay and the PDF, so 50 as opposed to 80 90. It's a big difference. So that's my take on both games. As I said, perfectly good games, both of them, and I will be doing period 4 of the Philadelphia at Chicago 2001 game, which is actually, the score currently is 60-64. So I hope you enjoyed this, and don't give me grief if you think that I'm wrong about replay basketball being a bit expensive for what it is. If I could get the seasons that I wanted, and I could get them for $10-12, I would buy one. But this game here in front of me is really just as good, and it's producing some interesting action, as hopefully you'll see when I do the fourth period, sorry. And it gives me everything that I want. So the only thing I will say about the PDF version is it can be a bit of a bind, because what they do, this is how they come. So you see they put these marker lines for where you cut, which is all well and good here, because when you guillotine across there, you've got these lines. But when you guillotine across here, you've got no lines at all. And the playing cards, they don't have these middle lines, they just have them around the outside. So what I had to do was draw lines down all the cards, which is 50 odd sheets of them, so that I could actually see where I'm supposed to cut. But it wasn't a big hardship. As I think this is a really good game, and I hope you'll enjoy the fourth period when I run it. But there you go. That's all I've got to say about it, and let me know what you think. So I'll talk to you later, and goodbye.